Wow. It's been
Yes,
a while.
wow.
It's been a while, Freeland.
It has
Since we
been a
were
while. It has been.
since Tuesday night, but it's been a while since we've been on FSN together.
It has been a while. It's good to see you, my friend. How you been?
Not bad. I did a little remodeling. I'm on the set of Golden Girls,
I figured.
so
I
you
figured. It looks
know.
like you've been cooking any casseroles, making any pies. It looks very homey where you're at right now.
Actually, right now, I got me a cheesecake for some late night talks over the table.
I love it. You, my friend, are a good friend. So what do we got tonight on the program?
Hey! You better sit there and check this man out on ESPN. You better go to YouTube and get on his page. This man is the human highlight. We got Mr. Isaiah Moore.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Mr. Isaiah Moore, it is good to have you on the program. How is life treating you, buddy?
First of all, thanks for having me on. And life's treating me not too bad. I can't complain. Got some beautiful babies. I've been able to travel a lot more lately, so cannot complain about life.
That is tremendous. So things are getting better post-pandemic, I would assume, for you?
Absolutely. The pandemic was, and as crazy as this sounds, it was sorry about the light there. It was pretty beneficial to me, honestly. I had a lot of help during it, so it kind of helped me grow as far as a performer. And afterwards, yeah, it's been very beneficial.
We've heard from a lot of people who we've talked to that during the pandemic, it gave people an opportunity to rest, get their body healed up, work on some things that they really needed to get worked out, maybe change up a routine, whatnot. So, there's always a silver lining inside of every situation, and it sounds like there was definitely one with you.
Absolutely. I had a lot of time to reflect about myself personally and physically as mentally. I got a lot more serious about going to the gym. I got a lot more serious about my character work and what I really wanted out of wrestling. So I had, of course, a lot of time to reflect, being stuck in the house.
Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. Let's kind of introduce the audience to you who may very well be familiar with you, but some people who may not be. Tell me a little bit about, a little bit of background about yourself as far as athletics, as far as the whole 9 yards. Kind of tell us, who exactly is Isaiah Moore when it comes to athletics and sports?
Athletics and sports. So I played like rocket football and basketball. I played football up until high school, and then I don't know. I just decided to stop playing football, and I went to the basketball route. And I played basketball all 4 years. Played 2 years of varsity, and we won conference championships, and that was a fun time. And then after high school, I kind of just stopped because the summer that I graduated is the summer that I started training to be a wrestler. So I kind of decided not to. I started college. I probably went like a month, and that probably didn't make my mom very happy. But I went about a month. Yeah, I gave it the
college try.
The old college try. I did, and it was just one of those things. Like it's not where I want to. It's not where I see my life going right now. So I kind of just decided to stop going, and I got lucky. My dad was working with a guy at the time who had started training wrestling, and on a random Sunday in July, I started wrestling.
I don't blame you. College isn't for everybody, and your bank account and no student loans is you're probably far better off than most of us are who did end up going, because I think I calculated I am in debt 12 Humvees fully loaded. If that just gives you a ballpark price of how much I'm going to be paying the man for a very, very long time at the university financial aid department. So let's kind of talk about this. So, in some ways, coincidence, you get to meet with someone who is in professional wrestling. Tell me about who that person was and how that kind of sparked your interest.
So the guy's name's Joe Simpson, and he did some independent stuff. He trained with Bipolar, who trained with Mick Foley. And so I was also like, I grew up with wrestling in my life as well. So that was like, that was always a thing. So as far as like sparked my interest, you know what I mean? Like it was always gung ho. But no, I had met Joe, and he was really, really cool, and he put us in the right direction. Like he bought us a ring to train in, and he really took care of us. Like he bought the first pair of wrestling boots or wrestling shoes and kick pads that I ever wore. And so he was really, really helpful to me. And that just kind of kept inspiring me to, you know, like if someone like this randomly believes in me, you know, who I got to keep going for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, Joe was a pretty cool guy.
So, as you had mentioned before, wrestling had always been something that had been around you. Was there anybody that, or any group of people that you specifically liked watching back in the day? Was there anybody that you gravitated to when the TV was on? You're like, I got to stop and check these guys out.
When I was really little, me and my dad used to watch Stone Cold a lot. Like he's the reason why I fell in love with pro wrestling. You know, guys like him, The Rock, obviously. I liked guys like Paul London, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. So anytime those guys came on the TV, The Undertaker, obviously, because he's The Undertaker. How can you not? But as far as when I was really, really little, yeah, Stone Cold was probably the go-to guy that really glued me to the screen. And then as I got older, I got in the John Cena phase. So
nice.
That was fun.
So, Isaiah, Stone Cold, John Cena, they're two of your biggest inspirations. But how did you come about the style that you wrestle right now?
Honestly, I'd probably have to credit that to Tyler Matthews. He's been a big guy in my career. He helped hone my craft a lot. He taught me a lot of wrestling psychology. So it kind of makes me think in it a little bit of a different way, you know. And plus, I always loved like the old school pro wrestling. So like, you know, watching them go out there and tell more of a story than focus on what kind of move. Like, yeah, I know that I'm an athletic guy and I can do some things, but I also don't want to just be known as that flippy guy that, you know what I mean, just what spot can you do next? That's not really me. I like to tell a story out there because wrestling is an art, you know. So I would definitely say Tyler probably changed my perspective on wrestling there, and Stone Cold definitely, just because I know he always told a story. My favorite match of all time is the WrestleMania 13 with him and Brett, the double turn. Like, to me, nothing beats that.
That was one of the greatest matches, you know, in wrestling history. But you sit there and your name, the human highlight. And I was watching your highlight video, and Freland, if you get a chance, get on his Twitter page, check out his hype video. He does a move that I have never seen anybody do. It's a German to a nip up to a Pele kick combination, and it looks amazing. How did you come up with that?
I was at a show, and it was probably EHF out of South Bend, Elkhart. And Jason Hotch was on the show, and he was doing, I'm not sure if he was working Sam Beal or whoever, but he's doing a deadlift German. And I always, you know what I mean? Like, I always loved that move. It was always like an O'Connor roll into the big lift. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Well, I can't go around, you know, lifting everybody because I'm a $175 on a good day. So I thought, what about an O'Connor roll, but you release? And I was doing a Pele at the time and trying to figure out a cool way to, you know, like, well, how can I insert this here? So put two and two together and got the old O'Connor roll Pele.
Wow. Well, you know what? If I had been on the receiving end of that, that may be the name of the move, but what it would be called to your opponent is called workers' comp. There's no way I would get up. Let's be honest here. I mean, that is incredibly impressive. So kind of taking a step backwards here. So when you're training, what would you say was the most grueling aspect about the way you were trained? I mean, was it a situation of, they just wanted to run you and cardio and that was a big thing, or did they try to stretch you? Or what would you say was the most challenging and difficult thing from a physical aspect?
From a physical aspect, probably stretching. That's fun. Learning how to slow down. You know what I mean? Like that's probably the biggest thing was probably stretching. Was never like chopped to death or anything crazy like that, but no, I've been stretched quite a few times. That's for sure for many of reasons. So.
So you're training, you're going through the process, you're learning a heck of a lot in the process as well. And was there any point in time where you said, you know what, this is not for me? Or was it a situation of, how many bumps, bruises, contusions, whatever it may be? I'm in it for the long haul. I actually love feeling this way.
During training, honest to God, no. I never really had that I want to give this up thing, because to me, that's what I had to prove. I had a lot to prove to me. I had a lot to prove to, mom and dad, because I had just quit college, and so there was never really a moment where this isn't for me. I mean, like later on the line, I've had those moments just because, wrestling has ups and downs, but definitely not during training. I was very gung ho and very like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I wanted to learn more. And I mean, I still want to learn more, but there was never a doubt in my mind that I didn't want to do this or wanted to give it up.
You've been wrestling for a better part of a decade now. And obviously we often talk about the bump card. Your bump card only has so many in it. The way you approach your matches, do you feel like you try to be cognizant of that? Or are you more, hey, you know what, let's just kind of go at it, whatever tells a good story? Or are you always trying to be mindful of, you know what, I don't want to take too many risks in said match, because I do realize that, if I have to miss a couple of bookings or whatnot, that can definitely affect me.
So when I was younger, absolutely not. I did not, you know what I mean? I was all, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'll take whatever, or I'll do whatever. As I'm starting to get a little bit older and I've traveled a little bit more and worked with different people and learned from different guys, I keep it in the back of my mind at all times. Where am I at? Is this worth that? What kind of story are we trying to tell? You know what I mean? Like, and especially now because I have kids, I not only want to wrestle for the next 20 years, but I also want to be able to walk and run with my kids for the next 20 years. So I definitely keep that in the back of my mind. The bump card, yeah, I'm a little bit cautious about it more now than I was then.
You had mentioned something earlier on about, just doing different spots, and in some ways wrestling has gotten, I use the phrase flippy dippy, and it's gotten to the point where there's a lot of people who love to do these aerial assaults, Cirque du Soleil type of things. And I feel like sometimes we get away from really what telling a good wrestling story is, grabbing a hold, working a leg, working an arm, really trying to show that raw emotion of what really tells a really good story, your facials, all that kind of stuff. A lot of the things that you had mentioned before that really made you gravitate to Stone Cold. Do you feel like in some ways, the people that you work with when you're putting a match together, do you try, if they're younger, to say, hey, you know what, you might not want to try to do so many spots. You might want to hone in on really trying to tell your story a little bit differently than just spot, spot, spot?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because like I said earlier, I was that same kid that wanted to go out and do this and do that. And I don't ever like, no, we can't do that. Like, you know what I mean? I'll try to like work with the guy or whatever to see if maybe we can come at it a different angle. Because I don't want anyone going out there and getting hurt, or, you know what I mean? I'm not a guy that wants to go out there and, hey, I've never done this before, but let's try this. I'm a big guy on safety, like no matter what it is. So if I'm working with somebody that's new and they want to go out there and do this and that, or they want to go do a dive out on concrete when there's, you know what I'm saying, no padding, no nothing, I'm gonna be the guy that's like, hey man, let's rethink that a little bit, because you know what I'm saying, you're gonna want to wrestle next week, or you're gonna want to go to you know, the job on Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a life outside of this. Wrestling is always gonna be there, but you know, your body's gotta hold up too.
Yeah. So Isaiah, are you the type of guy that likes to plan out your match, like A, B, C, D, or do you want to go out there and just call it in the ring? Or is there the third option where, okay, we got this spot, this spot, this spot, but we're sit there and work our way to it on the fly?
I'm comfortable pretty much with whatever. So like I like to pride myself on being able to work with anybody and any type of thing. But for me personally, I like to figure out what story we're telling. So I like to figure out the finish first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we trying to get to? What's the end game? What exactly, like, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of story are we trying to tell? And then we can figure out, you know, point A, point B, you know, all that good stuff.
Isaiah, did you ever have a match where, you know, you had stuff planned out, but the crowd just wasn't into it? And what did you do to sit there and try to reel the crowd back in?
Yeah, I have. It was at the Century Center in South Bend. I was wrestling Jonte Keith, and the match just, it wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it wasn't like a bad match or anything like that, but the crowd just wasn't really feeling it. I did a dive early in the match, and it was like Undertakered myself almost, I guess, if you want to put it that way. It was like a scorpion. It sucked. So that kind of took away. There was a spot where we thought he might have got injured, and and I was trying to go home because, you know, I was really still green at the time. So you know what I mean? Like, if you're hurt, and even still now, if you're hurt, let's get it over with, buddy. Let's go home.
Yeah.
But yeah, the crowd really wasn't into it. I couldn't really put the figure on, the finger on why at the time, but I kind of just tried to do the best I could, because there's not really much you can do, because if they're either in it or they're not. And you know what I mean? The best you can do is just still go out there and still try to tell that story that you're telling. You try to get to the home, and hopefully that the finish pays off in the end, you know?
You know, just to kind of piggyback on that last question, you had mentioned sometimes when you notice somebody might have gotten hurt, and somebody who might be, you know, okay, I'm not 100% right now, and you decide to go home and end it there. Let's take it from a situation where everything is going amazing and the crowd is super into it. Was there ever a moment when you walked out there and it just felt like everyone was just walking on clouds? Everything went perfect. It just one of those situations where in your mind you think, man, you know, am I ever going to have one of those matches where I feel like everything that I intended to do went off smoothly without a hitch, and at the end of it you walk back through the curtain and you're incredibly proud of your performance?
Yeah, I had a match with Jason Hotch at Metro Pro Wrestling. It was the first time that I got to go there, and I had known him for years now. You know what I mean? He had came in, and I had pretty much watched him grow up, and now he's all blew up, so it's kind of cool. But no, first time I was at Metro, and he and I were having this match, and we went over it a few times, and then there became a point where we were calling it to where we didn't have to speak. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have to say a single word. It was just, we knew what we were doing. We knew how we felt, and went through the curtain, man. And it was just one of those nights. It was just like magic. It was just clicking. We were out there just telling the story. We had the crowd in the palm of our hands, literally, probably within the first 30 seconds of the match. It was just one of those cool moments. You know what I mean? We're out there, you know, you're doing your thing, you know, everything's looking crisp. Everything that, you know, you thought you'd get that reaction there, you got exactly what you were looking for. It was a really cool night, and we walked back from that, and that's probably always going to be one of my favorite matches. But yeah, definitely a cool feeling, man. I can't explain that.
Well, piggyback off of that one, you say Jason Hotch, you guys had a nice crisp match. That was amazing. What other guys or ladies have you worked where it's just like you see that you're working them on the card and it's like, man, easy, sit there and payday, go out there, do what we do, and take it home.
Yeah, there's been a few guys like that. Ren Jones, I got to work with him up at AAW. That was like bread and butter. Travis Titan, really good guy. Love him, man. Same place, AAW. That was really awesome. There's a few guys. Even on the local scene, I always have a good match with Theo Storm. He was my tag partner for better part of 3 years, and so whether against or tagging, that's always money. Tyler Matthews, like I said, he was one of the guys that helped train me, so that's also another good match. Yeah, it's hard for me to really think about everybody. I've had I can't say I've had quite a few magical moments, but there's quite a few great to good workers that I can go out there and just not have to worry about anything. And it's always great to have that feeling,
It's so awesome you mentioned AAW, good friends of the show, Danny Daniels and Trent Zaberi. Know the guys very well, and they do an amazing job up there.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. Is there any promotions that, and I know it's hard to say, which ones you really enjoy going to, but is there any promotion where that the guys they bring in, it's just there's something special each time that you're brought in to go ahead and do what you do? Is there anywhere that, you kind of light up a little bit extra, like, all right, this is what we're going to do? Is there any place like that jumps off the top of your mind?
Metro Pro always brings in some decent talent. I like them. RCW in Indiana always has a solid card. They bring in some hot talent there. Obviously AAW, that's like top-notch talent. I can't remember the name of this fed right now. That's kind of going to bug me about that one. But I've been out in the Wisconsin scene, Legacy Pro Wrestling. I'm their heavyweight champ right now, and they've been recently bringing in some better talent. I love going up there. Those guys have treated me really, really well. Horror Slam Wrestling always has a good card. Guys like Tommy Vendetta. That's a guy that I should have mentioned in the list of guys you can go out there and have a match with and not even have to worry about anything. That guy I'd put over anytime, anywhere. But yeah, definitely say there.
So in your time in pro wrestling, you have been in a lot of different places. And I've realized here, Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit. Congratulations on that, by the way.
El Champion.
Yes, that is pretty awesome. When I bring this, okay, I'm going to kind of mark out. I'm going to seem like kind of a fan here. When it comes to the belt, okay, do you show your friends the belt? You get together with people. Do you let them put the belt on? Do you let them walk around and do a little strutting? Do you let them take a picture with the belt? What's your thoughts on family, friends? Can I see the belt? What's your thoughts on that?
My brother and my dad are those guys, and my buddy Antoine, he's a guy like that loves you know what I mean? They're like my biggest fans in the world, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, anytime that I win a belt or something like that, they're always, I'm the champ now. Or my brother's I'll bring my brother to training with me sometimes and let him have some fun and stuff like that. And he always wants to fight for belts. I got one title that the company ended up shutting down, unfortunately. So I just have the belt now. And it's a pretty cool belt. So I gave it to him because he's like, I'm going to frame it one day. And I'm like, okay. So, he always brings that belt out. We're going to fight for this at training, right? So that's pretty cool.
I used to love the stories about back in the day when they sit there and you won a title and the guys, everybody in the locker room sit there and hype you up. Man, you got to wear that through the airport. And it's like, okay, I'll wear it through the airport. And then they're all just laughing at him. I used to love hearing those stories.
Oh yeah, those are great. I'm very fortunate that I wasn't that guy though. Oh man, no.
So throughout your career so far, you've gotten to go, like I said before, a lot of places, and you mentioned Legacy as well, and I think that is an amazing place. Great Lakes Wrestling Association. Not super familiar with them. What was your experience working with them?
I still work with them to this day because they're about 40 minutes from where I live. I'm from Buchanan, Michigan, so they're in Coloma, not a very far drive. They were one of the companies that was very helpful and beneficial to me during the pandemic, because after a while when stuff started to clear up, we were able to do the pandemic shows. And during that time, there's no people that you're working in front of. You're working in front of cameras and you're working the boys. So it's like you're out there with nothing. So you really got to figure out a way to find yourself in that moment. You know what I mean? You have to get yourself over. You have to, so that really helped me as far as character wise, because I had no choice but to, figure out who the hell is Isaiah Moore. And then during that time, it was like, the last couple of years I was able to figure out the human highlights. So
would you say it takes a while to find out who you are? I mean, I know it sounds kind of a corny question, but I feel like there's a lot of wrestlers who start wrestling, they start to get a repertoire down, but it takes a while before they get to that point where they really start to feel comfortable in their body and they know who they are and they know the way they want to display their brand. Would you agree that is a maturational process that doesn't always come immediately?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't come up with that. Like I can speak for myself personally. I didn't come up with the human highlight until my 5th year. I'm going on 6 years now. Well, 7 years, excuse me. But you know what I'm saying? It definitely is a thing that you have to go deep and find. You kind of have to soul search in a weird way, because you have to find out, like, you know what I mean? You're not you don't want to be just playing the wrestler. You know what I'm saying? If you're in it, you should want to be the wrestler. And part of that is finding out who you are in it. Because if you're not believing in you, you're not believing in yourself, there's no way from anywhere to 50 to 15,000 people are ever going to believe who you are or what you're trying to portray in that character. So yeah, it's definitely a process. And even still now, it's still trying to find things that work and niche and, what works best for me. So it's an ongoing thing, I think.
Kind of a two-tiered question here. I guess part one would be, during the early formative years of your career, where you were definitely still trying to learn the process of what do I do and how do I handle things, was there anybody who befriended you, or anybody that you stayed in contact with, someone that continued to, in some ways, I guess maybe mentor, but at least kind of gave you the ropes as far as, this is how you do this. This is what you do when you travel. This is what you do. Was there anybody like a big brother or someone who was a really positive influence on you that kind of helped you learn your way?
So 2 guys that I can really say that have stayed in touch and always like checked on me, stuff like that. One of them goes by Tony Thunder. He's been a controversial guy, and a lot of people, you know what I mean? Everybody feels indifferent, but that's life. But to me personally, I've never had an issue with the guy, and he's always been very helpful to me, stuff like locker room etiquette and, traveling, what to do here and what to do there, stuff like definitely like that. And then another guy, Russ Jones.
Yes.
That's my dude.
Oh my God, that man's a beast.
Yes, he is. And I love that man. He was a big, he was the reason how I got into AAW in the first place, which very thankful for that, and thankful Danny Daniels for letting me be on the show. But those 2 guys have always been there and always reached out and always checked on me. And another guy, I can't say that he trained with me, so he wasn't as far as like, here's what you do, here's what you do there. But it's a guy that's always been there in the business for me. The Celtic Nightmare, Adam O'Keefe. But travel wise and stuff like that, Tony Thunder and Rush Jones, those are my guys.
So now that you, my friend, are in year 7, you're I'm not going to say you're getting gray. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that at all, because I am. But then again, I'm much older. Now that you are a seasoned veteran, is there any moments or times when you've had people come up to you and either they're nervous or they're scared or they're worried or whatever it may be? Have you ever had a chance to maybe pull somebody aside or just talk to them? Or maybe you pick up on the body language and you realize, you know what, they might need a little talking to, as far as just, hey, let's keep it together and remember where you're at. Is there anybody that you've done that for, or anything that you've realized, you know what, I got to pay it forward. Russ did it for me, and I want to do the same thing for the next group coming through?
Yeah, so it actually has been kind of a recent thing. Guys have been coming up to me and asking advice and stuff like that. It's been kind of cool. One kid I can say that I gravitated towards to in helping as far as body language was down and was having a rough time learning stuff. Kenzie Black, she travels around with us as well. But she was one of those kids. She was the only girl training with a whole bunch of guys, so it was real rough for her, and she'd get real down on herself. And another kid that's trained with us now, he goes by Darren Fly. He just started his wrestling career. He was one of those kids that same way would train and get real down on himself and kind of question a lot, and needed that extra attention of like pull to the side, like hey, let's slow down, let's learn this way. You know what I mean? Maybe if we tried a different approach than what they've been trying, it'll work. And then as far as travel wise and trying to help the guys, I just I'm wrestling him coming up at Metro Pro Wrestling on March 12th. Forever Young. He's a guy coming up. I've come to take a liking to. He's been reaching out to me, asking for advice, asking me to critique stuff, and he also even came and he traveled with me. He came, picked me up, and we headed up to Legacy Pro Wrestling just so he could try to get a spot. So I respected that a lot, and that made me want to help him a lot more. So,
question: is his entrance music Rod Stewart?
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Forever Young. When you get done with this, go ahead and pull it up on your cell phone. Rod Stewart's song, amazing. Ritt, have you heard that song?
See, Freland, this is where we split in differences.
No,
you hear Forever Young, you go Rod Stewart. I hear Forever Young, and I go Jay-Z.
See, here's that. You're the sugar and I'm the spice. You're the shake, I'm the bake. We come from different genres, my friend. That's what makes things so special. Let me ask you this on the line of etiquette here, because we hear so many different wrestlers you bring up, I was trained or I was raised in the wrestling business to do certain things with etiquette. Shake everyone's hand. Don't shake everyone's hand. Introduce yourself. Sit in the corner. Stay the hell out of everybody's way. Shut your mouth. Keep your ears open. Be respectful. What is it today, in your opinion? What is the right way to do it? What way were you trained? And do you have any stories of people who you just cringed and went, yeah, I got to walk out because this is a little awkward?
So I was always taught, you show up, you help set up, you shake everybody's hand, you ask to help with whatever, you help tear down, you shake everybody's hand, and you leave. And you know what I'm saying? So be respectful, be mindful, shut up and listen. Basically do what the promoter asks. And I feel that's beneficial in a lot of ways. So to me, that's how it should be done. I have seen an incident where a guy, I don't even know his name, to be honest with you, so I can't say don't even name names, but I was at a show up in Michigan, and he wanted to try to, nobody knew who he was. He had to have been a relatively green guy. And he showed up, he worked this match, and he tried to leave immediately after. Now he also brought his own heavyweight title with him, and yeah, it was a very interesting cat. So he went to leave the show without helping tear down or say goodbye to the boys, and one of the guys that helped train, Steve Sterling, did not take a liking to that, and it was a very, very long day for him. He tore down the boards by himself. Let's just say that. So
wow.
That's the second worst thing you want to sit there and do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tear down the boards. That's horrible.
Well, it's a respect thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Don't just show up and expect, and then you want to leave. Like, no, like at least be thankful for what you got. You know what I'm saying? None of us owe the wrestling business anything.
Well, Isaiah, I'm going to sit there and throw a little respect out, because I kind of like what you said about what Forever Young went and did. He came, picked you up.
He did.
You guys went to the show together just to try to get a spot on. So I'm going to reach out to you afterwards. Give me his contact information. I want to get the man on the show.
I sure will. Hey, he'll be great. I'll give him credit. He's great with like the YouTube thing. He's on all that, so he'll be a good guy to have on. But
no, just the amount of respect and I love to see a guy go the extra mile, because somebody like him doing that is going to get that little extra help from not just you, but for everybody else also.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think you'd agree, Isaiah. It's all about separating yourself from the rest of the herd. When you're new, right, you want to try to find ways to make yourself stand out, not being, cocky or anything like that, but just basically saying, hey, I'm here, I'm available. We've had a lot of wrestlers make comments that they would sometimes, depending on if someone in the car was riding to a show, they weren't booked, but they still went to the show just to throw an extra pair of hands in to help out. And then that leads, my friend, to a booking. Any unique stories about just showing up and be willing to be a team player, even to people you don't know, that led to something else down the road?
Yeah. So Theo and I rode with Russ Jones down to it was called Rival Showdown, and so we went down there, and actually it was me, Theo, Tyler. We all rode with Russ, and we went down there. And the first time we went down there, like you said, it was just to help out, to see what we could do, see if we could get a spot or whatever. And cool thing, we ended up being a part of, I think it was Mojo's entrance or whatever. And Danhausen was his opponent, and I ended up getting choke slammed I think I got choke slammed by Danhausen. Tyler got beat up. We all had a good time. It was a really, really cool moment. And then the next time that we went, it was Theo and I, and we ended up it was a 2-minute opener spot to put over a guy that was coming in from Impact on their show. And so it was just kind of cool that they gave us that little bit of a platform to kind of like, hey, we can go a little bit before we got beat up again. So.
But it's a commercial, though. It's a commercial for your product. And every time they put you in that ring, it's all about how well you can do what they ask you to do. And I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Gosh, there's so many things I want to ask. Let me ask you, when it comes to traveling up and down the roads, and we often hear about, well, hey, we're going to share a hotel room, or such and such is super stingy with what they eat or what they pack in their bag. What is your protocol when it comes to being on the road? I mean, are you the McFoley where I pack everything in my bag? I'm not going to spend a dime outside of what I need to as far as gas or whatever like that, maybe some ibuprofen afterwards. Are you just that I'm ready, I got my shit together, thank you, but I'm on a budget?
Yeah, that's me. That's the thing, though, is that's kind of how I was raised as a kid. I'm not a very materialistic guy. You know what I mean? Like, if we have to go out and travel and stay in a hotel, blah, 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 that's cool. That's fine. But, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with throwing what I need in for the day / night. You know what I mean? We stop at the gas stations, whatever. We'll stop and get food. Let's get to the show. Let's do our job. Let's get out. Let's get home. You know what I'm saying? Have fun. Be safe.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm not a very like I'll go out. I don't mind going out and having a drink or whatever with the boys and stuff like that to have a good time. But no, 9 times out of 10, I'm usually let's go get something to eat. Let's head home. I gotta get to my buddies.
Let me ask you this question. I've had a few people tell me they feel comfortable, and I've had some people say I don't feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Blading. Now, has that been a situation where a promoter has talked to you about it, or has there been a situation where, hey, it's your call, Isaiah, do what you want to do out there, and you either did it or didn't do it? What's your thoughts on that? Because you are very artistic just from the conversation we're having right now. It seems like you're very meticulous in the way you do things. And this has to be, prompted by this and everything has to have its certain place. What's your thoughts on blading itself, and how do you use it or choose not to use it?
I believe that it has its place in if the story in the match calls for it. So if it's worth it, like you said, I'm very like this way, that way. Yeah, if it makes sense, the story calls for it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I say it's okay. I wouldn't just go out there and hey, let's go out there and bash each other over the head for no reason and bleed all over because that's dumb to me. Like, but no, I have before, and for the right story. It was a build-up. I was running it was a story with DW Kelly at EHF, and it ended up ending in a cage match. And that was after we had cut his hair and we'd cost him the title so many times, et cetera, et cetera. So, hang on, my light's messing up. There we go. But no, I believe if the story calls for it, then yes. But just to be out there bleeding to bleed, no, I don't think that's worth it.
Smart young man right there. Smart. All right. I'm gonna throw it to the Ritt. Oh God, I can't believe we're doing this. See, this is what happens, Ritt. This is how we don't have friends. Because we ask them questions right now. We put them on the spot. Look at this. We're all getting along here. You're going to ask him the question, aren't you?
Freeland, I don't know what you're talking about. We're all friends. I'm Sophia. You're Dorothy.
Whoa, why do I gotta be the ugly one? Why is that always gotta be? There was no fat golden girl, so I gotta be the ugly one? I appreciate that.
But we got Blanche down here below us.
No, hey, Isaiah's the good looking one. I tell you what, I'm gonna mention something about that before we go before we're done here. But I'm gonna let you ask Isaiah the question.
Okay, Isaiah. Hot tub time machine.
Lord have mercy.
You can go back in the time to any match in pro wrestling history. You're going to take somebody out of the match, and you're putting Isaiah Moore in the match.
Oh, shit.
What match is it, and why? No pressure. No pressure.
This is like one of those short answer questions that you would take on a test. You'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, shit, this is long. And then I got to give a why reason.
That's a really good question.
We've had some great answers, over the 7-8 months we've been asking this question.
Absolutely, we have. I have an idea as you're thinking. We're going to kind of have a conversation here about what we think you may say. All right, Ritt. So he mentioned The Rock. He mentioned Stone Cold. Okay. Now, I'm not a mind reader. I'm going to say it could be a Rock Austin match. Very well could be.
No.
It could be a. What do you think about Bret Austin? Bret Austin.
I'm thinking
that could be.
That was
good storytelling.
But I think Isaiah is going to go Bret Austin, but he's taking Shamrock out, and he wants to be the enforcer.
The special guest enforcer.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about that though, because he's the enforcer. But I think Isaiah would want to be in a match where his hand's going to get raised. I don't think he's going to be doing the job. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's humble enough where he'll do the job. What are we thinking here?
I don't care about winning and losing.
Hey, Jerry Lynn says, "Pin me, pay me." So that's what it matters, right?
There it is. If I was to go back, Isaiah. If I was to go back, you were almost right on the tail. I almost did pick Bret and Austin, but I always loved Rock and Austin. Was it 17? when they did the
It was
turn.
17 in the Astrodome.
That is the one that I would pick, and I'd be The Rock. I'd take him out, and I'd put me in.
Wow, that's a great match. That's a classic all-time match right there. If you could challenge anybody right now, currently in wrestling, literally, every wrestling locker room is open right now, and they're all watching you live right now. You have a chance to call somebody out. Who would you call out right now for your big match? Who you calling?
Randy Orton.
Wow.
That
That's a great pick right there.
I would have went a completely different way. I would have said Matt Cardona because he's the hottest thing on the indies right now.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, but Randy's the Viper, and Randy is very, very good at telling a story with his facial, his eyes.
That's what it is for me, man. It's that storytelling.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know about you, but I value my body parts because once he sits there and does that snap power slam, and then he starts stepping on my ankle, my hand, I ain't moving. I can't move. I can barely move now.
Well, I'm north of 300 right now, and if he snapped, power slammed me, and he didn't hurt himself, and then he did the turnaround punching the mats, I think I would defecate enough to get me down to about $150. I think I could. I think I could. But I want to say this in a completely normal way. You are a good-looking dude. You got a great smile. You're obviously in great shape right now. I feel like you have the mentality, the mindset, the knowledge, the look. I think you're going to do amazing in your career. And all of us support you 100%. We can't wait to see all the things that you're going to do. And is there any chance we could bring you back for a follow-up and shoot the breeze and find out where you're at down the road?
First of all, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for having me on as well. And absolutely, you guys are pretty awesome, pretty funny to sit here and watch banter back and forth. So anytime you guys want to talk, I'm down for it, man.
Well, it's because we take a lot of medication. I can speak. I took 7 pills before this. So
first things first, as soon as you get a chance to be on AEW Dark, because I know it's coming.
I have been.
Oh, he's been on AEW. Oh, yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, he's taken on John Silver, Alex Reynolds. Absolutely.
Man, what the heck?
He beat their asses. Yeah.
Whoa.
I did the O'Connor Pele in the last time I was there against Santana and Ortiz.
Yes.
Your favorite move.
He took out the Inner Circle.
Oh, man.
And then he grabbed the mic and sang Judas. Made them all run away. That's right. That's right. Hey, the Rod Stewart thing. Check out Forever Young. I swear you will never look at him the same way. And just find out if he's a Rod Stewart fan. Isaiah, let's do this real quick. It is Plug-O-Mania. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, swipe left, whatever this stuff is. I have no idea because I'm old and I'm not on social media. So
are you trying to say he has a Tinder account?
I have no idea. Is that the thing with I don't know social media.
Left.
What do we got?
Oh man, you're calling me out. I'm terrible at knowing my own social names. My Instagram, I believe, is H_Isaiah Moore _H. Twitter, that I'm terrible at. I'm not sure.
Isaiah _Moore H.
Yep.
Okay, here's the deal with the underscores. The Ritt, can you see the screen right here? This is the Ritz. Okay, when I told him to come up with it's @ the Ritt. Oh my gosh.
It's because I went and tried to put it on just the Ritt.
I'm just terrible at social media, man. I love to cut a promo, but I'm like, as far as like going out and tweeting and this and that, I'm not a very like, here's what I'm doing guy. So I'm bad at it. It's bad.
Do you have a place where people can go to buy your merch? Pro Wrestling Tees.
Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm on there. Brainbuster Tees. You can find me on there.
Perfect. We'll make sure we push those.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, where are you at right now? I keep thinking, are you in a car? Are you in a...
I am in a car. My kids were still awake, so I had to escape.
Oh, okay. I was like, is he in a gym? Where is he? I'm very
I went
curious
to the
because
gym early. I'm an early bird, man.
nice. And I'm glad to see you're an Ohio State fan as well. So,
Oh yeah, not ever, not
go
one chance
Buckeye.
in
I
that.
didn't think so.
Blue, what was the score?
Isaiah Moore, thank you so much for coming on. Give the kids a hug from us and stay safe, and we'll touch base with you, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much for having me on, and hope to talk to you soon.
Sounds
Hey, take
good.
care, Isaiah.
See ya. All right, Isaiah Moore, right there. Great conversation with an up and coming superstar. I mean, the guy has all the tools it takes right now. I think that he's humble, which I think is a big thing. He's humble. He understands his body. He understands what risks to take and what not to take. And I think being young and having a family, I think it also grounds you. And it makes you put things into perspective as far as, where are my priorities at, and I don't know. It just seems like he is ahead of what his chronological age is.
Yeah, and I'm kind of jealous now because heck, he got to spend more time than I have with John Silva, and I've been trying to sit there and get with him for I don't know how long, Mr. Whipwreck.
Well, speaking of that, you guys know that Mikey was at NYWC, hung out with all the boys there.
Oh yes, Tony Nese, Johnny Hungy.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry. I shot him a few texts.
Yeah, I told him, I said, man, what's going on here, buddy? You going to talk to your friends, throw us a bone? But no, getting back to Isaiah, very excited about what is next for him. He's had great success so far. He's been on AEW numerous times with the Inner Circle and taking on the Dark Order. So hopefully we'll see him again. And man, it's just exciting. This is the beauty of Future Stars now. We get to see guys as they come up the ranks and we get to hear their stories and how they're being trained and who trains them. So we get a pretty good idea, a pretty good landscape of what wrestling looks like right now in the indies.
Yeah, and we're on the ground floor with them as they rise to the top, where we will continue to bring them in their journey to all you fans.
Love it. Love it. Rittster, it's always good to catch up back with you, man. It feels like it's been forever and a day.
Yeah. We're back on Tuesday. It's Friday now, and we got another one coming up in a couple of days. So
we definitely do.
But hey, okay, Freeland. It was good talking to you.
You as well.
So until next time, check out our Twitch page, check out our YouTube page, and well, I am the Ritt. He's Mike Freeland. See you next time on Future Stars Now.